see, the more you do it, the more you do it. So this is the third video in this attempt of making videos. Let's just put away the screen so that we don't look at it. I know I'm pretty, but it's distracting for the viewer when I look at myself and not into the camera lens. Rightio. So what I wanted to talk about was, I'm not even sure how to say it. Basically, it's about becoming charismatic and generating ideas. I guess that's the best way to sum it up. Basically, we all want to be charismatic, funny, to improvise great ideas on the spot, to say, like, to always have something very, I don't know, on point to say, and yet it doesn't really happen, you know. It's like, and now they've moved on from this topic, and like, as you're falling asleep, you think of the perfect thing you could have said, right? So the best way to make sure that this happens, this situation where you don't come up with anything on the spot, is to not say anything. It's to feel ashamed when you say something wrong. It's to try to avoid something. It's like trying to avoid saying something wrong. That is the best way to never say something clever, funny, charismatic, relevant, brilliant, not to come up with the best ideas at the right moment in time. Because basically everything is a muscle or a habit. Let's turn this down. Everything is a muscle, a habit, because the more, well, basically, as I said, the more you do it, the more you do it. The more you do something, the easier it becomes for you to do, because of physical like barriers, overcoming physical barriers and psychological barriers. If it feels weird to just blurt something out, then there's obviously a lower chance that you're gonna blurt something out. But if you blurted something out once and you survived, because that's what our brain is always thinking, we're still in that caveman, cave person mentality, where if you do the wrong thing, you will either be eaten by a tiger, or you will be shunned by your tribe and then be eaten by a tiger. So either way, it's lose-lose, right? But we don't live in those times anymore. Like, even if for some reason you say something so absurdly bad and offensive and I don't know what else, so dumb that you get shunned by one social circle that you have, school friends, or I don't know, work colleagues, whatever. Basically, yeah, whatever you do somewhere, the world is a gigantic place right now. We don't live in 150 people tribes anymore. Like, you could alienate 6 billion people, let's say, and you will still have over 1 billion people that you can hang out with. Think about that. Like, you would have to try so hard to like alienate everyone you meet, and you would still have like probably billions of people to go to, like, I don't know, whatever, right? So the point is that our fears, our psychological fears, which have been ingrained in our genes, think about it, like the code that wrote these skin cells or whatever is also writing a lot of the psychological traps that we're in right now. Traps which block us from getting to our true potential, from doing those things that we want to do, from trying things that we want to try, right? Because psychologically we think like it's, the triune brain theory, the logical, emotional, and lizard brain. That's a bit different, like human, mammal, lizard brain. Let's go with that. So one is logical, one is emotional, and one is instinctual, I guess. I don't know. Fight or flight, basically. It's like eat, procreate, and run, I guess. So either you're attacking, you're mating, or you're running away, trying to not be eaten, right? So that's where, like, basically the earliest, lowest, but also strongest part of our brain is. Basically, those are the three instincts that it has. So if you get nervous, so that's the emotional, mammalian, social brain, tribal brain. What ends up happening is, like, logically, nothing's gonna happen. But if your emotions are triggered and your anxiety is strong enough to go into, like, to trigger the lizard part of your brain, where you think, oh, it's fight or flight. If I go here, I might die. So I have to avoid this situation where I open my mouth and something dumb comes out, because I might literally die. Someone might attack me, or someone might shun me. Like, I might get abandoned by my tribe. So those aren't even emotions anymore. They're like just, I don't know. I haven't thought this through, so bear with me here. But basically, emotions, they're hard to control, right? Basically impossible. But when they are so strong that they trigger those lizard brain instincts, I mean, it's hard to come out of it. It's hard to fight it. So, like, in that moment, you probably can't do much. You probably should step back, calm yourself down, relax, and then maybe, I don't know, approach the situation again. Like, if in sales there's this the goal to put a time limit on things, so that it's the best offer ends today, you have like 15 minutes to register to buy this, and after that either the offer goes away or the price goes up 10 times or whatever. It's this scarcity sales tactic which we're often subjected to, and its goal is to affect our lizard brain. Well, first of all our emotions, and then our lizard brain, where it's like, oh no, I have to do something right now, otherwise something bad is gonna happen. So that's where the rational brain has zero effect anymore, right? So in those situations where you feel like, oh no, this deal is gonna go away, you also should step back, calm down, maybe analyze the situation a little bit, and then think, okay, what's the worst that could happen? And then try to reapproach the situation. Do I actually need this? If we're talking about buying something, is like if I don't buy this, what is the worst thing that's gonna happen? Will it be just pricier? Like the price will go up, double the price. But then again, so what happens if I do buy it and I actually don't need it, don't use it, and now I've definitely wasted, I don't know, $500 or whatever the thing is, as opposed to $1,000 later on. I don't know. Anyway, you get my drift here, right? And so this same thing applies to our communication, our content creation, our personal brand, our, I don't know, public speaking, whatever. If we want to be charismatic, if we want to be funny, clever, entertaining, then there is a layer, let's say, of calm, like space, where you allow yourself to make mistakes, where you know that nothing horrible is going to happen if I go in here, if I say something slightly more risky maybe, or dumb. So basically you allow yourself a little bit of space to say something dumb, because you know that let's say you say something idiotic, something offensive maybe, but you know how to come out of it. At the worst, you know you can apologize. I'm sorry I said something dumb. I was just trying to riff, come up with something funny to say. It wasn't funny. I made the mistake. So that's probably one of the worst things that could happen most of the time. And just admitting your mistakes is one of the easiest, most surefire ways to come out of a problem like that. And sure, it doesn't always work, especially if you are a celebrity who is trying to, I don't know, whatever, let's not go there. But the point is, now I'm in my head. So the point is, if you're afraid of this space, obviously you can't just go all out the first time and just say something obnoxious or whatever. But slowly try to expand this area, and you will learn to, first of all, you will learn how people react. You will learn how fluid, I guess, you are in this space, or how far you can go. Like if you say one thing that's like maybe a little clever, maybe not, but it's like, hey, yeah, blah, 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 and then it works or it doesn't, that's, I don't know, you can do that, nothing bad happened. The more like often you do it, the easier it becomes, the more like freedom you feel here, like more relaxed you feel when you do this, and you don't notice it at some point. Then you start adding more, you start going further, and then you see, okay, I maybe I went too far here, hadn't thought it through, and don't think things through too much. But at some point, that thinking, verbal thinking, which is important, especially if you're like me, who spends most of their day in front of a computer, like editing videos or coding or whatever, right? The verbal thing, like muscle gets atrophied. So you need to start practicing it, and then at some point you'll see, okay, I can think faster, what to say, what not to say, and so on. So, right. And so then basically the goal is to expand this area of improvisation, cleverness, joking, whatever. And the more you do it, the better you become at it, and that's kind of obvious. But you have to make it your goal to put yourself in slightly uncomfortable situations. Push that discomfort and see that, okay, I went there, nothing bad happened. I went there, I didn't die. I went there, I'm still accepted in that social circle. I went there, no tigers. No tigers, nowhere. Great. So basically you're training your, like the connection between your logical brain, your emotional brain, and your lizard brain, that things are fine. You're saying, okay, I could go here, and everything is okay. And another thing that happens, by the way, is that when you go into that lizard fight or flight mode, your logical brain shuts down. Even if you're in the emotional brain, sort of, very often your logical brain isn't working because the emotions are just so strong, and maybe you haven't felt these emotions in a while. Maybe they are a bit dangerous or feel dangerous. So the logical brain sort of shuts down a little bit because it's the newest part of our brain, and as a result, like obviously the older brain is more important because that's how all of the like mammals or all of the people, all of the mammals, all of the, well, quote unquote lizards, because we never were lizards, but like we were at that stage of simple thinking, I guess, where we just had a few basic instincts, right? So you can survive without like higher intelligence, but you can't survive without basic instincts. If you're just like, if you don't feel danger, if you, oh, big car, what happens if I step in front of it, and you don't think about that threat, obviously you're not going to survive. If you don't feel healthy emotions, then again, all of these things are important for survival. So because they're so much older, so much more essential for survival, the more dangerous the situation is going to be, or at least in your mind dangerous, the less energy is going to be left for that critical, or not critical, but like that logical part of your brain. So this part of your brain shuts down in these situations, and you can't think of anything clever to say because you're anxious, because you're, okay, is there danger? Is something gonna happen? Is someone gonna make fun of me? Whatever, what's gonna happen, right? So your logical brain isn't capable of generating any good, clever ideas, clever comebacks. If you're like roasting some, like your friend in a friendly manner, but if you're sort of anxious about, am I gonna say something dumb? Are they gonna like make extra hard or make fun of me extra hard, and I'm just gonna be embarrassed? So you won't be able to, like, what's the word that I'm looking for? You won't be able to, doesn't matter. You got my point, right? So the goal, again, let's get back to the point, is to put yourself in those uncomfortable situations, and to let your lizard brain, your mammalian emotional brain, get themselves accustomed to this situation. So if the emotional or lizard brain feel like this is a new situation, they're gonna feel like it's more dangerous. They're gonna feel like there's more risk here, more to lose. We don't know how to handle things, and so they're gonna take away energy from that logical brain, and they're gonna be always like looking for danger, for threats. They're gonna be anxious. You're not gonna feel good. So if you put yourself on purpose in those situations, maybe you think something through, and then you're like, oh, I tried something, tried it again, and like it becomes your goal to do this. It becomes a habit to push yourself in different situations, because like, okay, maybe making jokes with your friends who you like, you know them, but you don't know how to, I don't know, kind of make jokes with them, right? You're anxious. I'm not a clever person, whatever. So that might be uncomfortable situation for you at first, and then you're like, okay, I got it, sort of. But then if you stop there, then that's, well, whatever, right? But if you learn to do that with newer people or acquaintances at first, then people you just met, and you learn to like just throw in a joke right away, they'll feel like you're a more fun person. You will feel like you're a more fun person. You'll have a more positive connection, more positive vibe with them. So that's going to again expand your zone of quote unquote, I don't know, what is this zone? Risk? I don't know. It's not really risk, but it's like zone of, let's say, improvisation or discomfort or whatever. I don't know. Who cares? But basically, like, the more situations or areas of your life you're gonna look at, okay, I could push myself here, and then you're gonna actually do it, the more you expand your whole life. Not just like, you will expand, like your whole life expands, because you will like sorry, I'm blanking here a little bit. You will feel like your hangs with your friends become more fun. Then your business relationships become more fun. You will be able to publicly speak in a more relaxed way. You will be more adaptable in situations like that, because, for example, I've done a few hackathons where we, for 48 hours, try to build something, some sort of idea, code, or physical, or whatever. And then we pitch those ideas, we present them, and because, I mean, it's a 48-hour like hackathon, you build things in 48 hours, things are going to go wrong, right? And usually they go wrong when you're pitching the thing that you just built, when you're showing, oh, so we have this thing, and apparently it doesn't work. And if you don't even address the fact that, okay, so we built this blah 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 thing that does this blah blah blah, but people see, like, you have a pitch prepared, but then people see, oh, but it doesn't do that. It doesn't do anything that you said. It just stands there, and you don't even address it. Then it's not gonna look good, right? You're gonna feel bad afterwards. You think, could have said that. But if you just are comfortable, relaxed enough to say, oh, so yeah, as you can see, it doesn't do what I'm saying that it does or is supposed to do, but I guess who's perfect, right? If you say something, if you address it even a little bit, you sort of burst the bubble of discomfort, of tension in the room. People are like confused. People are, does he realize that it's not working? So you address it and it's like everyone is more relaxed immediately. But it won't happen if all your conversations, if all your pitches, if all your speeches are like prepared 100% to the T, every word, like every pronunciation and whatever, and then if something goes wrong, you're immediately derailed. Like you forget your words and you're like, doesn't work. It's going to be cringy. People are gonna be looking at you, oh God. But then again, you will also have to go through these situations, because if you're going to push yourself, these situations are going to happen because you're intentionally doing something that you haven't done before. You're intentionally going to do things without a script. But the next time your script breaks, something surprising happens, something, I don't know, whatever, then you will be able to adapt more quickly. You will be able to redirect it to where you want it to go, and it might work better than if it just went by according to plan. Because one of the things about, like, for example, improv comedy as opposed to stand-up comedy, or there's different things like that, like just speaking without a script versus speaking with a script. One of the main differences is that if people feel like it's happening in the moment, it's going to be 10 times better. It's going to be like they're going to connect with it more. They're going to feel like it's more important. They're going to care about it more, and as a result, it's going to be better. But again, this is a skill that you have to practice. And yeah, I think I've talked a bunch. I think you got my point, and yeah. So what was the point? The point is, the more you do something, the easier it becomes to do it. It becomes more of a habit. You will remember to do it more. So every chance you get, turn on the camera. Every chance you get, speak to a friend without a script. I don't know. Every chance you get to go on a stage, do it. Every chance you get to make a joke, do it. Every chance you get to say hi to someone who would have just stood there while you stood here, say hi. Ask how their day is going, what are they up to, whatever. Basically, put yourself in uncomfortable communication situations, and as time goes on, as you do it more and more, those uncomfortable communication situations become comfortable communication situations. Great phrasing, I know, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.